Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hi, Emerson.
How are you guys doing? Thank you for
Hi,
coming.
Emerson.
Hello.
Hello, Emerson.
Hello, Anne Marie. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. Some people are still coming in. So, wow. Thank you for coming. Are you guys ready to spend 4 days talking about nothing?
Hi, Emerson. Hello.
Hello. Hey, King. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
Good. Good.
Is this one for an hour or an hour and a half?
This is
This for
an hour. Maybe we'll go for an hour and a half. We'll see. We'll see. And then there's another one at 2 o'clock. That will be for an hour and a half. Maybe we'll
yeah,
just go all day.
brilliant. Cool.
Yeah.
Do we get lunch breaks?
No.
No.
It's a day of fasting.
This is called starvation.
Oh,
All right, I'm just going to mute everyone. We're going to get started soon. There it is. So welcome everyone to the unconditional wow 4 day event. Originally it was supposed to be 3 day, but some people requested that I have it after work. And tomorrow there's going to be an hour and a half break so that you guys can attend Tony's event. Some people also said that they wanted to attend that as well. I'll send you guys the link if you don't have it. Um, I really like this format because I did this in a live meeting. The live meeting, people call it exhaustion, and the way that this apparently goes is I'm only going to post maybe the introductions to YouTube. If you guys want to, this is to resemble kind of like almost like a one-on-one. The reason I've been posting those one-on-one videos is to um to give an example of what you might want to do. So if you have a question, if you want to exhaust those questions, please keep on asking questions. And nothing will be an offer, of course. It's just to eliminate that there's no one asking and there's no one answering the question. So I like doing introductions in all of my in all of in all of the meetings that I present. So since this is the beginning, what's being suggested here is the beginning, the apparent beginning of everything, the genesis story of nothing. There was really no beginning. It's like a story within a story within a story. So in the story of the story, there was a beginning of time, apparently. There was a an apparent history of how this evolved. But since it's just a story, in that story, there's another story. It's a story within a story of an apparent individual that maybe comes out as a baby. Um, when they're a baby or toddler, there's no separateness. Everything is seen as pure and innocent, and there's no separation. But in the apparent story, there seems to be a dream or a suggestion of separation, a localized feeling of separateness. And in the illusion or the dream or whatever you might want to call it, That seems to be the beginning of the story. When you're a child or a baby or a toddler, there seems to be a mine. I remember when babies would be mine, my name, but there was no separation in that. So in that separation, there's always a longing for completeness. What's really missed, though, is that this completeness is already, it's already. There's always been completeness. Even the idea of separation or the dream of separateness is completeness. It's like someone looking for a light with a flashlight in daylight, looking for a light. But it's light everywhere already. It's like looking for a meaning in something that does not really have any meaning. It's looking for liberation within liberation. It's looking for an end for something that never really begun. So in this story, within the story, there seems to be a beginning. But this is the beginning. This is also the end. So everything that rises up is the beginning and the end. What's being suggested here is this is timelessness, and there seems to be an idea of separation, and it's going to happen now. There's going to be an idea of separation of time, of how did I get here? Where do I get to? What will I achieve? Will I attain anything in this? So every time that idea of separation arises, it's the beginning of separation, but it's also the ending of separation. So the beginning and the ending of separation arises at the same time. The beginning of liberation is seeing that there's no beginning. The ending of separation is seeing that there's no separation. And I know that this word has been used so many times, so many times. This is it. If you understand this is it, this is it. If you don't understand this is it, this is also it. I'll repeat. If you understand this is it, or this is it. If you don't understand this is it, this is also it. So there's no beginning, there's no end to understanding. There's no end, there's no beginning. This is it. See, if you understand it, hooray. If you don't understand it, hooray also. Because nothing changes this. The beginning of the idea of that there's something other than this is also the ending of something other than this. It doesn't make sense. The truth will not set you free because there's no truth. All efforts in trying to get here or this is a trap. Seeking and not seeking is a bondage. The mystery can't solve its own mystery because the mystery can only operate in mysteries. It can't get out of the mystery. I'll change it to the illusion. The illusion can't solve its can't get out of the illusion because it only operates in illusion. So in this fictional genesis of everything, all of these ideas, all of these thoughts about what this is it. There's no separateness. The idea of beginning and the idea of at the ending is the same. So if you're looking for something other than this is it. This is it. This is it. I know that it's been used, and then if you're beginning to understand it, who's understanding it? If you can't understand it, who's also misunderstanding it? So the opening here is that there's nothing to understand here. That's the beginning of understanding. There's nothing to acquire here. That's the beginning of seeing. There's nothing to figure out. That's the end of the search. So the beginning and the end was being suggested is the same. Understanding and not understanding is the same. Efforts or no efforts are the same. Seeking and not seeking is exactly the same. Again, looking for something, you know what? Everyone's looking for love and light. This is not about love and light. This is not a kumbaya 4-day event. This is not about integration or union. This is seeing that everything is nothing and nothing is everything. And everything that you've ever looked for is already appearing as everything. So there's this idea of what reality is. There's this model of reality, maybe 7.5 billion versions of reality. There's no such thing as reality. That's just another idea. So if you're looking for the answer in coming to this, everything is the answer. Everything is the answer. It's not hidden at all. It appears in everything. Everything is the answer. If you're looking for light, this is already light. As I said earlier, looking for light with a flashlight in the middle of daytime is what seems to be happening all the time. It's kind of like, where is it? Where's the light? I bought this extra powerful light. I paid for this really expensive flashlight, and I can't seem to find the light. Again, if you understand this, this is it. If you don't understand this, this is also it. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or just unmute yourself. And if you want to have a longer conversation, as I said, I'm not going to release the entirety of this meeting. So I'm just probably going to release the introduction to it, so that people can have that intimacy or that expression or that questioning. And the reason that I do that is so that you can spend a little bit longer in time. You know, I love doing one-on-ones, and it's just a joy talking about nothing. I don't know why. I say tell my parents when they ask me what I do, and I'm like, I talk about nothing and I laugh about nothing all day. Oh, here's a question. This is it. This is it said Genesis 1.283. I don't know what that means. If you want to expand on that one, please go ahead.
It was a joke. You were talking about Genesis.
Thank you. Thank you. I used to really kind of like really pay attention to that story of the Genesis and trying to find meaning in it, trying to understand it. When what is seen is that really all of that is just a story within a story, because there's a story about how we get here. So the story just keeps on generating stories to maintain the story.
Hi, Emerson.
Who's that?
It's Petra.
Oh, hi, Petra.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Hi.
Yeah, I'm on a funeral today, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but it was different than every funeral I attended before. Of course, yeah, as no one was dying, and somehow, yeah, it was the real and the unreal simultaneously. So, yeah. So
it's quite trippy, right? When it's seen that that everything that seems to be happening is also not.
Yeah, and the priest was promising the life after death, and wow, it was something.
Yeah. Well, the life after death actually is in the eastern side of it. Enlightenment is the life after death.
the resurrection and
yes.
to be with the eternal life with Jesus. Yeah. And yeah, it was just, this is it.
Yeah.
What to say? You have to say, yeah. No one died. It was, yeah, there was this appearance of this woman. She died from cancer, and yeah. So
Sadness happens though, huh? There's a lot of
sadness happens, yeah. But it's also unreal in one way, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Grieving happens, sadness
Yeah.
happens, all the above.
Yeah, and since birth is happening, death is happening, it's this click, click again, the up and downs of the duality. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing though?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Have another glass of wine and see you later.
Yes. Yeah. Again, feel free to. Nothing will be an offer here, so feel free to
Yeah. I know.
Grab a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's just chill here or chill with you.
That's right.
Everything's fine. Okay.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later. Thank you. Steve. Hey, Steve. How are you, Steve? Good to see you.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Well, seems that a lot of nothing's been happening.
Yep.
And it's okay. It seems okay. Things have been coming up and disappearing, and things have been sensed in the body, different sensations. I took a long walk yesterday, or I should say, walking happened yesterday. And it just seemed that nothing was walking.
Beautiful.
So since we've last talked, it's been what it's been. And it's been wonderful, whatever it's been, or whatever it's. Something happened. Am I still?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're still in. I'm not sure what happened here.
Okay.
Oops. Just there. You go.
There was a moment. There was a moment some while back where it seemed that whatever was happening, it just seemed it was different, and it was okay, and it just seemed that the happening was doing the happening.
Yeah.
And there was a sense in the body of maybe a little more hyperactivity.
Yeah. Lots more energy.
It felt like it was different. It was a different sensation, and at the same time, it seemed fine. It seemed like it was a natural or a even though unusual, it was, the sense was okay. So more and more seems to be happening. I don't know quite what to say about it, except that it's different than the way things have been, and at the same time, it seems to work.
Yeah,
It seems to be, and and things seem to continue to come up, and at the same time, they're nothing.
exactly.
So I got no complaints. And
When was the last time we talked, Steve? How long ago was that? Like a week ago?
no, it's been about a month.
It's been about yeah, that's right. The last event, yeah.
It was
The unconditionally free.
right. It was
Yeah,
that retreat.
yeah.
And things have been happening all along, and they just continue to be. And it just seems great. Things
Yeah.
just seem great. So
Yeah.
somehow, without with the weakness of words to describe what's been going on.
Yeah, yeah. That seems to happen a lot when there's a collapse of ideas and meanings and belief, right? The words are hard to pull out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's like almost like muddying the water, right? It's really clear already.
yeah.
And it's trying to explain something that is inexplicable, something that can't be expressed is almost dirtying it. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You
Yeah.
know that there's just this. It's the sameness, and also it's the same but it's different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is a sense around the words that I've been hearing.
Yeah.
There is a sense that those words are somehow accurate and not accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so nothing has a different meaning now.
Yeah.
Knowing or not knowing. In this current vocabulary, the words, even though they may be hard to voice, that
Yeah.
they make sense in it. The words make sense in a kind of a new way.
Yeah.
So I know what's been said, or what nothing means now. I know, or I should say, nothing has been nothing has been sensed as something,
Yeah.
and it just, it's just different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
This feels fine,
Yes.
even though it's different than things used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's stunning.
And it doesn't matter where it seems to go.
Yeah.
Although there there are some things that come up because there's a different feeling about the way things used to be. The work that was done for years,
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. Well, let me say, uh, that's just come up. That's just come up. Um, and at the same time, it's not troublesome. It's
Yeah.
not a,
It's just what's happening.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's all empty anyway.
yes. We talked about emptiness.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember our conversation now.
Yeah,
Apparently. Yeah. Yeah. So it's seen through that everything, that emptiness is just emptiness on top of emptiness. So everything that arises is just emptiness and nothing that's apart from it. It's all empty.
yes.
Yeah.
And even that in a sense is okay.
Yeah.
That is not a, a difficulty.
No, no, because it
It's,
can't be conceptualized really, right? What's happening is just what's happening, and it can't really seem to put in words what is happening.
yeah,
Although we use words for everything in communication, apparently, but it's something that is just so ordinary, extraordinary is what I usually call it. This is just very ordinary, extraordinarily ordinary. Like everything is just presenting itself to no one. Everything's just happening, and everything is unknown, and that's okay. There's an okayness to
yeah,
even when it's not okay. There's an okayness to it too.
yes.
Yeah.
So, so okay is an acceptable expression.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
We'll add that to the non-duality
Okay.
lexicon. It's just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's,
just okay. It's just all right. It's the all rightness of everything. It's whatever seems to appear is just what's appearing, right? This is it no matter what.
okay.
Yeah.
More okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Emerson.
All right.
We'll see what else pops up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just thank you so much for sharing
Well, thank
um
you.
yeah, yeah, of course. I didn't do anything, so um
Well, I'm just throwing it out there.
okay. Thanks. I'll take
All right.
it. Thank you. There's a couple of questions here. Can you talk about unconditional love? I can't feel this unconditional love. Is it because I am conditional or conditioned? Um, yeah. So I think I posted this in a response of what is love. What is love is you can define it. Unconditional love is you can't define it. So love, definitely, basically, you know what you can call it. The personalized idea of love is romantic love, a love between two people. There's a subject and object. Um, Even when you talk about unconditional love of a mother, it's still conditional. So what is being spoken about when it's unconditional love? That's why I don't really like speaking about it, because unconditional love cannot really be defined. It defies definition because it appears in everything. It appears in in things that you might not see as love, because there's a perception of what love is. There's an idea of what love should be. There's a romanticized version of love. Plus, it's just a word, really. It's just a word trying to. It's a word of separation. So love usually involves relationships. It's just a really it's a wide net word for almost a lot of things. But what unconditional love is cannot really be fully be expressed, because unconditional love can only be unconditional. So the moment that we put a definition to it, it becomes a conditional response to something that cannot be understood unconditional. There seems to be a romanticized idea of what unconditional love again, right? People like hearing that word. Again, this is not a love and light retreat. This is more of a hardcore illumination that it's okay. Even if you're not there, it's okay. Kind of like what Steve said. It's the okayness. Even when it's not okay. So another question here. Is it? Sorry. Hi Emerson, I got a glimpse from the last retreat and I was okay for a week and then the me came back really strongly. How can it get it back? um Apparently in the story when there is, usually a glimpse, the glimpse is an apparent moment. It's a seeing that the one that is seeing is not actually there. So it's a glitch. The glimpse really is, or the glitch really is the me or the character. It's always this way. So the idea, again, the moment that there is an idea, if you catch it, right, it's the beginning of separation. The moment that you think that you understand it, there's a separation. The moment that you think you don't understand it, there's separation as well. But no one's choosing separation. It's just the illusion. So the illusion is a very persistent one that keeps on expressing separateness. So what seemed to happen in this apparent, I think that was a 2-day one, right? Was it a 2-day one? Did I do a 2-day one? So I like these longer formats is, this is just a story. But people usually that stick around gets pummeled into seeing that there's no one here. It's like a starvation. It's almost like an exhaustion. Because the questions, keep the questions coming if you'd like to ask a question, because there's always going to be the response that there's nothing happening and there's no one here. So what seems to be happening is that there seems to be a trying to understand, trying to get, and then it keeps on retreating because it can't understand and it can't get what's being expressed here. So it's always going to be nothing, but the seeker or the me wants to get something out of it. So they usually come to this. And then when they get exhausted, and this is just a story, when it becomes exhausted and trying to figure out, and I see sometimes, when I'm talking one-on-one basis, that when someone is trying to figure out the automatic separateness illusion is triggered. It's automatic. It happens all the time. It's the understanding, the misunderstanding. How do I get this? I will never get this. It's the same narrative. So what seems to happen when the wheel of this knowing and trying to figure out is seen just as a wheel that is circular, the apparent knower collapses in exhaustion. This is just a story. And everything seems to be light. Everything seems to be okay. Because there is this seeing that nothing is really happening. Brian, hey Brian, how are you doing?
Good, Emerson. How are you?
I'm good.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to communicate this effectively, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
and
for
it
sure.
kind of maybe ties into what you were just saying.
Yeah. You're not really communicating it anyway, so whatever comes out, comes out. It's just
Okay.
automatically happening. Yeah.
That takes the pressure off.
You can't do it wrong, you can't do it right, because there's no one there doing anything.
What's been coming up lately, the last few days, is trying to see what is it that builds, that constantly fuels this separateness. And I wondered if it had to do with the idea that the story of the brain seems to integrate imaginary stories very easily into what's actually happening. For example, if you tell me, if you voice, there is one God and his name, what's actually happening, I think, is there's just vocal cords vibrating.
Yeah.
But I'm immediately interpreting that you said something, that there is a God,
Yes.
and that the God's name is Allah. And I
Yeah.
will automatically either accept it or reject it, which is the same.
It
I
is
will
the same,
develop a
yeah.
belief around it.
Or not
Okay.
even not a belief is the same. Right? Again, it's a cyclical
Yeah,
thing. It's this everything that comes out
exactly.
is an illusion, and trying to because the illusion is the illusion of separation. So everything
Yeah,
that comes out, so understanding is separation, misunderstanding is separation. It's almost like it's Genesis all the time. It's always beginning, but it's also apocalypse at the same time. So it's beginning and ending at the same time, right? So the moment that it's being expressed that there's nothing here to figure out, the apparent character will think that, well, I'll figure it out. That's separate already. But the moment that that comes out, this apparent, idea of separation, it also collapses. And then another one will come up. Another one will come up. Well, I believe it. Well, I believe that now. So everything that comes out is empty. But it seems like a persistent nudge that this is really real. This is really happening. You are right, Brian. You can't be wrong, Brian. It's all that kind of stuff. So it keeps on rising. Again, it's the beginning. It's like every apparent moment is the beginning and the ending. It's like the Genesis and the apocalypse, all to say the beginning and the end. Meaning it's not really happening. None of this is happening. We are not really talking here. There's this illusion that's running along with nothing happening that seems to be, it seems to be expressing belief or disbelief, understanding or misunderstanding. So despite the understanding or misunderstanding, or I don't get this or I get this is always it. The one that arises, that also disintegrates, is the illusion. So the one that thinks that it got it and I don't get it, or the meing or the being, is the illusion. So what's expressed here is that this is all empty. Nothing is going on right now. Nothing is happening at all. The only thing that's apparently happening is the illusory idea that there is something going on. And that's supported by the illusory nature of the illusion that's thinking that there's a separation. So the root of all illusions, and I mentioned this before, is what is coming out seemingly from you. Because there's no you, so it seems to be coming out, but it's not really happening because there's no you to come up from. So for example, if there's this wholeness, this timelessness appearing, this timelessness, the way to interrupt it with is the illusion that something's beginning. So it cuts it. It kind of like it obstructs it. It almost kind of like hides it. That this is just the seamless nothing. This is just a boundless dream. So there are segments. I know what Emerson's talking about. Oh, boom. Then you don't know what I'm talking about then. Because there's no one to know or not know what I'm talking about. That's what's being expressed here. So the illusion of me or the character or the separation is the one that jumps in at every single apparent moment and starts the genesis of a story. And that story becomes a story within 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 a story. And it's actually almost like the rabbit hole of knowing. Well, I know this, but how do you know that? And it just keeps on reinforcing the belief that there is a separation, that there is a beginning, that there is an end. It's really simple. Someone said
the idea that that part of the problem.
Oh, you just cut out there, Brian.
Is imaginary in with what's actually happening. It's just a story, really, too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just this brilliant, persistent illusion that this is happening to me. But if you go further down, that illusion is just an expression. There's really no one. There is the root of the one that is having all of this illusion is the main illusion that pumps out illusion. So it just keeps on coming up with illusions. So everything that it comes up with is an illusion. Is an illusion. It's to maintain that I am separate. Because if I am separate, then I can awaken. So it gets into this false narrative and this false love and light idea that I am special. So what's being expressed here is that this is just the great this is the party pooper. It just everything just goes kind of like completely blank, right? Everything is just happening. So there's no higher or lower. It's just sameness, allness, oneness, if you want to use that word, togetherness. But it's never been separate. So every single word that seems to appear is like a knife that cuts wholeness, but it can't be cut. The cutting is the illusion.
Yeah.
It can't be separated. Even all of these ideas, all of this knowing, all of this understanding, all of this wisdom. So wisdom doesn't even cut this because there's no one who is wise. There's no one that knows. And the moment that this arises, it becomes an expression of separation. But it's a very persistent one.
And the seeking happens in this illusory context where where I can break experience.
Yeah, I will get there one day. Yeah. So even when you say that I will get there one day, or how do I get to what he's saying, it reinforces it over and over again. Because the moment that you think that it will happen to a me, I will get this, or even the idea of I will never get this, it's the same response. Right, so it's just a hall of illusory mirrors reflecting each other, acknowledging each other, mirrors of illusion, reflecting, and it's just mind blowing because there's no mind that this is happening. As I said, the mystery can't get out of the mystery because it's the mystery itself. The illusion only operates in illusions, so it can't get out of the illusion. And the illusion is very tricky because it always maintains separation. It always generates separation. It's like a glass of mirrors looking at each other. There's nothing there, but when you put it together, it's almost like an eternity of reflection of nothing.
And
what's that?
Indra's net of jewels.
Oh,
Indra's net of jewels.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking
about. Indra's net is what you made me think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hall of mirrors. Sorry.
The hall of mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, and it's quite stunning. And sometimes when there's this seeing here that everything is just this illusory that feels completely real, there's an awe to it. I'm like, look at that tree, look at that, whatever is happening. It's just this appearance that's not really here. Kind of like when science, science is just another knowing, but let's just use that. When it said that's 99.99% empty, how can I hold this cup? It's a mystery. But there's a lot of hypotheses about this, or another science thing that this is all simulation, but no one's simulating it. It's just simulating by itself. And before you think, before you think that there is a presence or a higher power or a being or something that's happening, that's just another cut of knowing, right? The moment that it knows, the moment that it thinks it understands, the moment it gets it. So this is actually when they say that this is just blissful ignorance. This is the innocence and purity, that whatever arises is already it. And nothing can change that. This is already it. Even if you know it or you don't know it, this will always be it. That's why sometimes I say this is it and this isn't.
And every question that arises then really is
the answer.
is just still looking for a detour to avoid
Yeah.
arriving.
Because the one that's asking the question is what's sought for. The one that is confused is emptiness. So everything that arises, every single question that comes is just an expression of infinity appearing as questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Blissful ignorance. Wee! Totally.
Actually, I'm a little bit early. Is it okay if I sit about 5 minutes? Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'm just going to mute. Oh, Grace. Hi, Grace.
Hello, Emerson.
How are
I'm sorry.
you?
I'm great. I'm actually between work.
Oh, okay,
so.
okay.
Love you, Emerson.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
I'll mute you. Oh, sorry, there's a couple of questions here. Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't really, you know what? I just really didn't answer the question of why the me comes back after. Yeah. So the question earlier is like, why did it the me disappear after? As I said, you know what? It keeps on hitting a wall over and over again, and there's just this seeing that there's nothing happening, that there's nothing going on, and usually when it comes back is again that the separateness, that idea that they're separate is held onto, is believed. So when the believer arises, that's when the apparent unseeing happens. Anne, go ahead, please. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Emerson.
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Emerson?
I'm good.
Emerson,
Yes.
you know that thing where they say that there is just now, but in that now, there's kind of like more than one reality where you are living a different,
Oh.
yeah,
No,
like
no.
the holographic thing.
Yeah.
So the holographic universe says that if you're sitting here unsuccessful, unloved, everything's not working for you, but somewhere else, if you could just step into it, you're living the life of your dreams.
What a great
That's
fantasy.
that's my understanding.
That's actually a great fantasy novel.
Okay.
It is a fantasy that there's something that is other than this. It's again, it's the moment that what's being expressed here, that all that there is this, and whatever arises, even the idea that there is a separate reality or a 5D awareness or something like that, something that is almost like it's a promise of it's another version of heaven. It's another kind of like idea of an afterlife. It's another idea of another idea of reality. Since anyone that has any ideas is just really an obscuring of what is already happening. It looks for something. Since what it looks for is, it thinks that it's being obscured by these ideas or fantastical ideas of separation. It looks for something better. There's this program, in the illusion of separateness, because this is it. And there's a program and it goes, this can't be it. Again, that the beginning, again, the genesis of that separateness idea kind of like rises right away. There's got to be something other than this. Then that's separation already. So what's really quite obvious already, the stunning clarity that everything that is happening is already this. Then that piercing, that cut through idea of alternate realities or different dimensions, and all of this it's like daydreaming. It's like another idea. So what was seen here, and this is just a suggestion, is this when this me collapsed, when this me died, is that all that there is this. So the obstacle is to seeing that this is the belief in concepts like different dimensions, alternate realities, or a happier thing, or an alternate universe. So it keeps on coming up with these ideas. It pumps out these ideas of separation because that's the illusory nature of the illusion, is that keeps on pumping up these ideas or belief or disbelief. It's seeking for something better. That's also bondage, right? Looking for something better is suffering because there's always wanting to get there, always wanting to get somewhere. What's being expressed is that everything that's appearing is unconditional love already. And unconditionality in freedom, meaning that whatever seems to appear is okay. Saying that, there's got to be something better than this is saying that it's not okay. It's the rejection of what seems to appear. It's the I don't want that. I am separate from that. I want a better experience. So when there's this apparent contentment of what seems to be happening, because no one is there, that whatever is happening is just what is. It doesn't dream up another this. It doesn't how do I say this mildly? It doesn't bullshit about, there's just this honesty that there's just this. Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank
it's
you,
just
Anne.
like a
Yeah, keep on going. Yeah.
So it's like a spiritual belief. So like saying that there's God and one day you're going to go to heaven, or
totally.
And it's going to be.
If you look at beliefs, it just gets recycled and recycled, right? It's just the story sometimes gets recycled. So, for example, most apparent characters probably started as really religious people that has this belief in God and everything, and then when that doesn't suit them anymore, it's cooler to believe in a higher self. Then it goes into spirituality, goes into meditation, it goes to practices and everything to wake up or to unite with that higher self. It goes to purification and practices, and then it morphs again into ascended masters, into higher beings, into different dimensions. It's just a morphing of this. It goes underground. So it's a belief of separation, because a belief, and this is going to be controversial, and I'll say it, because I love doing this unconditional retreats because it goes off hinge sometimes. So belief in God is separation. A belief in a higher being is separation. A belief in ascended masters is separation. A belief in pure consciousness is also separation. A belief in divinity is also separation. It's a belief that there's something greater than me or less than me, or I will get there. And it stems from unworthiness. And that's what usually, in the story anyway.
Well, when you're saying like it's underground,
it does. Yeah.
So I could talk around it. Yeah, underneath it's this what is it?
It goes underground. It just goes underground. This belief just keeps on going underground. So every single belief that there's something better than this. There's teachings out there that will get me to a higher, or Emerson, you need to get to a different level. It's just a belief that goes underground. Levels, hierarchies, this, that. And again, because this character has gone through all of that bullshit. It went through, retreats. It went to gurus. I remember it actually one time that I actually went to a sitting guru under the tree because that was the hot thing. This guru doesn't speak. You just sit in a tree and you'll feel all of the energy. I went there and I'm like, oh, damn it. Again, it's nothing. It's nothing. Sometimes I would fake it. I would feel like, I would go kumbaya and everything. And that's completely fine because there's no one doing it or whatever. It's because I just didn't want to go back, and book a flight back because I've already booked the retreat. So I'm here singing along with everybody.
Yeah.
It's just, and then there's just this belief again. So if you notice what I'm saying, that character is the belief that there's something outside of this. That why it goes to different gurus. It flies somewhere, sits by someone's feet. It
I was
believes in higher consciousness and all that kind of stuff. But go ahead, Anne. Sorry.
I was going to say I was brought up Roman Catholic,
Likewise.
and it's like, Lord, I am not worthy
That's
to
right.
receive thee, but just say the word and my soul shall be healed. And I
right.
never felt that my soul would ever be healed,
Yes.
or I would ever be worthy. And bottom line is,
you're a sinner, Anne. You're a sinner. You must absolve or purify all of your sins to enter the kingdom of God.
Yeah, but
you
even
must
after
absolve, you must practice all of this meditation to be able to go to this pure consciousness or higher awareness. The same thing.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny, even in non-duality, right? There's this, it just keeps on going underground. It just keeps on morphing into something, right? So there's the belief in a separate God, and there's a belief in a higher being, and there's a belief in the higher me, like consciousness, and it morphs into well, this is everything that there is just pure awareness, but you have to abide in it. And then you have to go to the different levels of morality, all that kind of stuff. So that's the idea again, that you're a sinner, you're unworthy, that you're not, you will not get enlightened because that's separation again, right? So the idea that really precise kind of like always like this illusion that rises right away when there's this wholeness that's being presented. It pierces through it and then has this idea of separateness, like unworthiness. That what do I do to get there? What do I need to do? How do I get to? Do I need to do more suffering? Do I need to prove my worth? How do I, and it's all of this seeking, and it's just this belief.
It's a double bind. There's no way to do it.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's like a straight jacket, right? The belief is your straight jacket, and then once you get out of it, you put on a tighter straight jacket.
Yeah.
And then you get out of it. So religion, spirituality, even some applied non-duality is just a trap, because it keeps on trapping you. Like, okay, I need to abide more in my awareness. I have to be witnessing my thoughts. Or any of that, right? Any of that. I have to be the observer now. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same trap. As I said, it's a cyclical pattern of this Genesis, this beginning and end, beginning and end. It's beginning there because there's no beginning and end is what's being expressed here, right? There's no such thing as a beginning or end. So every time that idea pops up, it's a beginning of separation. It's this idea. And then what's being expressed here is that there's no beginning and end because there's no one here. You're not talking to me. I'm not talking to you. The idea that I'm talking to you is the beginning of separation. It doesn't make sense, I know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just went off there. Holy crow. No one did. But yeah, you know what? There's just this, it's, just a moment here. this unresolvableness, one field of light, infinite dimensions. I don't know. Yeah, again, any ideas, right? That's why sometimes when I speak about this, I try to simplify it as much as I can, or I use clashing, words to dispel it. So any idea of this a field of light or anything like that, it's nice. It's nice, but the best answer to that is I don't know too, Chris. I don't know. No one knows. Carlton goes, "Hi Emerson, if a person, me is a heroin addict, it's just what's happening and it's okay. However, the me, it's a nightmare. Um, Addiction happens, right? It's just a happening. Um, but usually the reason that it's happening in the story, I'm talking, I'm not really a therapist or anything like that. So none of this talk, none of this communication is to address any of that. This is just an illumination that when addiction happens, it's just happening. It's not happening to anyone. But there is this sense of separateness again. The reason that usually addiction happens, it usually stems from separation. The opposite of addiction is separation. I think someone said that. The opposite of addiction is separation. So usually addiction, we know with heroin, is to have that nagging feeling of separateness calm down. But when that usually a substance is taken, that separation, when when the person comes down off the heroin, it becomes addictive. This wholeness. I read that book. I can't remember which book it was, but someone said that a heroin is like a warm hug. So they're looking for that union. So when there's a feeling of separateness, they're addicted to that feeling of wholeness. Again, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but yeah. Sharon, I'll go to your question, Leah. Hi, Sher. How are you?
But than ever.
Hello, I'm
Oh,
fine.
hi. What did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
That's a better than ever.
Better than ever. Good, good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good
Very
to
good.
hear.
And I would like to have it more. So, yeah.
Did you not hear what I said earlier?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, there is. I have no any question which I can call it's mine.
Yeah.
It's just the answer.
Yeah. All the questions actually that are appearing already have all the answers, because all the answers appears in everything.
It's already is an answer. Every question which I ask you or someone asks you is already it's a not question.
That's
Even if it is not it's not my own.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no one has ever asked a question.
Yeah.
No one has ever answered anything.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sher. It's nice seeing you always.
Yes, thank you.
Leah asked, "Hey Emerson, can we just say that there is only one I, not I and God, not I and ego, just one I?" I feel like words just, yeah. Even the reason that I don't really use the word I, the I am or something like that, is because it comes from a teaching. It comes from a knowing. The moment that the I arises, there's identification. Separation is identification. The moment that the separateness, flashes in, there's this wholeness, and there's this persistent illusion that is this circular thing that runs along with this apparent wholeness or emptiness, and it usually starts with I. And that's why I don't really use words. I know words are really complicated. We're just really talking in dreamlish here because words are separateness. So I'm trying to point out the separateness in the separateness through separate words. Again, I'm just going to we're going to take, someone wants to go for lunch, I guess. Someone just asked, when are we going to go for a break? Thanks. We're going to be back and we're going to do 90 minutes after an hour break. Thank you so much for coming, and this is just the beginning.
Thank you, Emerson. I'm so happy you're doing
Thank you,
that.
Emerson.
Apparently.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Well,
Are you going to put us in a breakout room?
Thanks, Emerson.
We're going to go on a breakout room. So stick around. I'm just going to stop the recording